afternoon, everybody. This is Eddie Pods from the How to Become a Sales Warrior podcast, episode number 2. I'm here with my co-host, Ty White.
How you doing, everybody?
Ty, what do you do?
I am the owner of Magic Junk and Cleaning. We are a moving junk removal and cleaning company. We'll move you out, clean the place out, get it all ready to be sold. We're the one-stop shop for everybody.
And today I have a guest here, George Kintrest from GAF, G-A-F. He's going to talk to us a little bit later about his role as a territory sales manager, something I'm very familiar with, but we want to hear some things from him in that industry, what works for him.
Awesome, man.
We're not just here to have guests, we're also here to educate the younger generation of how sales reps actually work, what we do, how we dig out the business, how we find shortcuts to finding the business. And our goal is to take some additions from my book and show how that it still affects us in the life, in the world, when we're out there selling. It doesn't matter how old or young you are, it's effective. It's helped me become a top sales rep for the past 20 years. I haven't failed at any of the stops that I've been at, and that's why I decided to write the book.
Oh.
We're going to jump right into Chapter 3. Chapter 3, I have a phrase for Chapter 3. It's called cog in a wheel. You told me a couple of stories about working for other people where you were just doing all the work, but somebody else was making all the money.
Yeah.
And
yeah. There's a light at the end of that tunnel, though. We'll get to that.
Yeah, we'll get to that. For the first 20 or 15 years of my career, I felt like I was a cog in a wheel. I was in the printing industry, and I made good money, great benefits, but that's all I was a cog in a wheel. Yeah. My personality couldn't shine. I couldn't really be who I really wanted to be, and I always felt like I had something more out there. I got divorced, and I decided when I got divorced, I was going to go into business for myself. And I decided to buy a deli. Why? Because I love food. That's the only reason.
Yeah, I mean, before I'm doing this, I was in the food industry for a long time.
I enjoyed the deli business, and I jumped into it all in, and it took 9 months for my doors to shut. Now, if you ask me, did you learn anything? Did you have fun? Check, check, check. It happened to have been, and George will know this, I know George is sitting over there. This was in 1994. It was the year that the Rangers were in the Stanley Cups and the Knicks were in the finals.
Oh, it was hot.
It was electric.
Yeah, it was raging. Yeah.
And there were parties at all the local bars that I was, associated with and friends with. So when people say, "Oh, that must have really sucked," I'm like, I met so many great people. I met people who wanted to share with me how to be a businessman, because I really didn't know. And you don't know until you go out and try and screw it all up.
And where was this deli?
Massapequa. So the part of the book that what I learned the most was after I left, closed that, my boss head guy offered me an opportunity to ride a route with him. I got to see the inside out look of every successful deli in New York City, Brooklyn, Long Island, the big guys, the guys that were spending $10,000 a week with boss head. And I was able to just learn and suck it all in. And then I went to Boar's Head School and learned some more. It was 5 years between closing my first shop and opening my second one. And the action statement I take from that chapter, if there's anything I could share, if you don't succeed the first time, get educated before you try again.
Yeah. Well, that was when I said there's a light at the tunnel. The education part of it was my light at the end of the tunnel of feeling like the cog in the wheel. You got to start somewhere, right? And some people, though, they don't really realize that. And a lot of times people in my age right now, people at my age, they want to go to the top the second they walk into the door.
Right.
I had the same exact mentality. And as soon as you start to figure some things out and you start to catch your swing, you want to just shoot to the top. But what I slowly started to realize is what I tell a lot of people. If you're ever getting paid less than what you feel your value is, take what positives you can out of that situation. And what my positives was, this is free school. I'm learning everything about this business. I'm not making a lot of money. I'm making just enough to get by. pay my apartment, pay my rent, get my car insurance, just enough to get by. But in that 3 years of getting paid $15 an hour to run a company, help build a company, I learned everything I needed to learn. And then the second I started off, my first 2 months in business, did 30 grand a month, just jumping right out of the gate. So my light at the end of the tunnel is, listen, you might be making only a little bit of money, but if you're unless you have a doctorate degree or something, but if you're coming in like guys like us who, like I said, we didn't go to college.
Nope.
We've been in sales and we've been entrepreneurs our whole life. Look at it as free school, man.
Agreed.
Take what you can learn from it.
I've seen that entrepreneurial spirit in you. It's a word I never get right, but I see that spirit in you, and that's part of the reason we connected.
Yeah.
Out in the networking world, similar minds, similar fashions. We met at that marketing cell where they were trying to sign us up to go on MSNBC. Only pay $8,000. We'll get you on TV.
It's so funny. That meeting we met when we met each other there after already meeting. That was one of the first times I realized that all you need is a loud voice and somewhat of an idea, and you can sway people. You can get a whole room. That stuff wasn't even developed. We were sitting in a meeting for something that wasn't even fully developed. They're introducing a new CRM that wasn't even ready yet, and people were already putting down payments for something that didn't even exist.
I want to go.
And you and I walk out, and we realize we both look at each other and was like,
nah,
this is crap, right?
Let's go have some old fashioned.
Let's go have an old fashioned.
That's funny. So we're going to jump into our networking segment, which is really how Ty and I met and developed our businesses together. And I say together because I work for Pods. We do moving and storage, and I have hundreds of customers who don't know how to pack a pod, don't want to pack a pod, and I've always had solutions for my clients. Ty and I have been together almost a year now, and being able to offer them something more really makes me shine even better, makes me look like an authority, makes me look like I know people, good people, who are going to help and be just as nice as I am. I mean, that's the thing. When I give you a lead, they already know you're a good guy.
Mm-hmm.
You just have to come in, do what you do best, and the attraction's always right there. And, that's building that referral opportunity. This was your topic for the networking tips, so jump into it from the networking perspective.
On what you said, sometimes it's hard when you meet somebody that you can kind of feel like you duplicated yourself a little bit in your process. That's one of the best things you can do. So when you refer me to somebody and you and I know our pricing, we know everything, you lay it out for them, and then I come and slam dunk it. That's one thing as a new business owner, sometimes it's hard because I want my clients to get the same thing that I told them on the phone. That's why when you're like, hey, send the guys, I'm like, no, I'm going to go because I want to make sure that what I told them happens exactly the way I told them. And then that's why my training process is getting better. But as far as the networking tips, the referral-based networking is something that I've learned from you. And that's what I want to tell a lot of people that are at these meetings, if you're going to these networking groups, and you're telling yourself, of course, you're telling people what you can do, but the approach of going up to any vertical and asking what they're targeting and how you can benefit them and what you could bring to them, the way they respond to that is a lot different than, hey, this is me, this is what I can do for you, this is my pricing, I could be there for you right away. Not everybody wants to hear that. No. So hold on. Actually, I know 3 guys that might need a this or that or a lawyer or whoever. Or actually, I know someone who's got a basement full of mold. You guys do mold remediation or whatever it is. What can I do for you? And then in turn, they're more inclined to bring you business because you offered that first. I've seen you do that many times, and I'm like, oh, this guy's a genius. I'm walking up with my car. Hey, this is what I do. I'll come clean it out. You're like, actually, I could do something for you. And on that, you guys start to build a whole referral-based relationship.
My best experience with that was at the Melville Chamber. Mm-hmm. You had a booth, I had a booth, Galuzzo had a booth. We all had a booth. And then show's over in the bar, doing our old fashions. You bring your wife and your wife's best friend and her husband, who happens to own a HVAC company. And I start talking to him and how's business. And, the first thing the guy says to me is, oh, freaking insurance, man. I'm just getting killed. I'm like, tell me more. And he's telling me more. I said, what's your phone number? Why? I says, I'm going to text you a guy's name. This is the guy that Ty uses. This is the guy everybody uses. He'll get you the best rates, give you the right insurance, not too much, not too little. He'll know what to do for you. And he goes, you do that for me? Like, dude, do that for you? Sent him the information. Now, I never got a sale out of it, but that's not the purpose of it. The purpose of it is to make someone say, that Eddie guy, he knows people.
Tools in the tool belt.
Tools in the tool
Tools
belt.
in the tool belt. Yeah, that's something that's I learned from you, and now I pay attention a lot more. I listen into what people do more than I used to. I used to let it go in one ear out the other because I'm so worried about my pitch.
Worried about your pitch.
Now I really listen because I see new clients, I see new people every day who have a laundry list of problems. Now, if I have this book of business of owners and different verticals who can solve those problems, I'm Mr. Fix-It, even if it's not something that I do. And that just, your name just stays at the top of their head for a long time.
Forefront. And it does it for the people that you referred. So even if it's a home inspection guy, well, the home inspection guy's in the field as well. If he comes across someone that needs storage or junk removal, we know he's calling us. Why? Because we reach out, we try to help, we try to grow their business. I don't care about getting in return. And I think I might have mentioned on the first episode, the book, The Go-Giver. It's an enlightening book, but if you read that book and you're that person, it'll hit you like, so that's why I'm successful.
Yeah.
My hard work is there, my effort is there, but that's not enough. Sometimes it's about karma, good energy, good vibes, willing to step out to help other people.
Yeah, and that's another thing that I've been sinking in lately is how to get out of, like, sometimes in business, sometimes you get into a dark place of just get overwhelmed. You got a lot on your plate, and you might be doing everything right, but if you're not helping enough people or helping anybody, then you're not going to get that true sense of fulfillment just by doing your job right. Or, if you're not actually helping people, then you don't really get that extra juice or,
Absolutely. I left work yesterday, and I did my guns to Jesus and God. Yeah, it was a great freaking day.
Yeah.
I didn't make one sale. How did I have why? Because I sent out 300 personal emails. I made 15 direct calls. I have seeds going into the funnel. It's not always about the sale.
Yeah.
It's about planting the seeds. It's about doing all the little things that make me as successful as I am.
Yeah.
We had our chart come out the other day, and it's got revenue for everyone on my team. I'm at $357,000, and the next closest person is $130,000.
Yeah. It's all of those seeds that you actually plant that people just might look over. I'm not going to send out those 400 emails. Out of 400 emails,
I already heard back from 10 of them.
Come on.
Like,
enough said. It's the extra stuff that you do that I'm learning. I wasn't doing before. So I was worried about that quick sale.
Close a
deal. Planting seeds, man. Going to doing little lunches, taking people. Hey, let's go sit down and have little things like that, man. Next year, it might be 3 months worth of business from a realtor that I just sat down and had coffee with. Hey, let's go have a coffee. Let's talk. What can you do? What can I do? How can we help each other? A year later, they call me with 4 months worth of cleanouts.
That's awesome. So we go from networking, referring to big wins and best new connections of the week. So we both are sitting on the same story. We have a couple, but this one really stands out.
Yeah.
I connected with a company that was doing a project in the city. They're demolishing four buildings, the first floor, all their storage units. So the storage people need storage. So it started off just as a phone call, and I heard the delicacy of the project, and I said, nah, I need to come see it. I said, this is not a phone call. This is, let's go walk the building. Let's see what you're really talking about. She's like, really, you'll do that? Lo and behold, I said to him, I'm bringing my pack and load team. You don't have to hire him, but I want you to get his expert opinion on how this plan needs to go. I'm just a container guy. I don't do anything else, man. I'm not loading your containers. I'm not unloading your containers. Yeah. You are going to need people to do that. So I'm going to bring a person. She's like, great, that's awesome. Well, Tuesday's a snowstorm, and I text her at 7:30 in the morning. Hey, we're still on today, right? And I get like a question mark, and she says, you sure you don't want to postpone? And I'm like, hell no. No one's going to be out today.
Yeah, it's actually the perfect day.
So we jumped on a train. We headed to the city. We took an Uber downtown. We took us an hour and a half. We walked 4 buildings. We saw 440 different size storage units.
Yeah.
And even after we went and visited everything, we had an hour-long conversation in the conference room over the details. You know, Eddie, how are you going to provide 40 containers for us in New York City? We had to go over that. Ty, how are you going to, break this down and pack all this? All these details that, to be honest, I didn't know that she was going to have all those questions ready to go, but I'm glad she did. And then when we started giving her answers to questions that she didn't even ask, we really started to shine.
We gave her so many different options. Like, hey, it could, honestly, it has to go like this. This is, it wasn't, let's all figure this out. No, this has to go like this. We see what you need now. This all has to be sorted properly. This takes this many days. We laid it all out perfectly.
Tell our fans about the QR code.
Oh, well, that's a part of our process. So this building, all of the tenants in these 4 buildings, huge buildings downtown Manhattan, have their stuff in these 440 storage lockers in various different rooms. So as you can imagine, all of this stuff has to go now into pods so they can demolish the building. But how do you sort and do all of this stuff with all these people's belongings? They're going to be freaking out. Oh, all of my stuff, they're not getting individual pods for their stuff. You're all by group going into a pod. So what I came up with is printing out QR code stickers for each actual room. Storage room A, storage room B, storage room C gets a QR code. These QR codes get peeled and stuck onto each pod. The loading team has managers who each have a clipboard, QR codes they scan before things go in the pod. You can literally scan on your phone to see, hey, does this go in this pod? No, if this doesn't match the QR code on that pod, it doesn't go in there. Find the one that matches. And that's how and when they take it out, when they're done, obviously they'll probably need us to unpack it. But if they figure something else out, at least it's all organized, color-coded, QR-coded, all of this stuff.
You're in charge of the QR code.
Yeah, that's the easy part.
No. I think you lock yourself into the unload. Yeah. I'm not giving you the keys to unload. Man, I gotta come back.
No, they're gonna need us to come back. That process is too intricate for someone to just be like, hey, we're just gonna come in and put all of this stuff back. Now, the people who separate it need to put it back.
The best part, the ending of the conversation, I turned to Stephanie and I said, so are you looking at other companies? What did you reply, Ty?
No, what did she reply?
No, what did you reply?
You asked her if she's looking at other companies. I didn't say anything.
Yeah, you did. You turned in and you said, are there really any other companies besides Pods?
Wow, you're right. You're right.
That was what you said, and she just looked right at you.
I did say that, because I'm like,
who else going to do this?
What are you going to do? Where are these containers coming from? Where are you storing this stuff?
So just to give an insight on the way Ty handles his details and I handle mine, the next morning I got on the phone with the senior VP of the New York City territory for operations, called him, told him about the project, what we got to do, what's involved. I need to own a calendar. I need to own 7 or 8 straight days, nothing but my business for the 6 trucks. And he was like, Eddie, go in the business, man. You do what you got to do. You go book that. Yeah. You close it. So right away, I got my ops team behind me, And then I was going to go to my price team to see about getting a further discount. I didn't. I put the price in. She didn't seem for or against. So I'm just going to let the basic price in, see what happens. If they come back and need us to negotiate a little, I left some wiggle room for the negotiating.
Yeah. I spelled everything out, man, down to, milestones, how many days, because obviously before the pods even come, we got to come there for about 10 days to do the stuff organized, color-coded, ready to go. And then I think I estimated 5 or 6 days of pods trucks in and out every 2 hours. So listen, we are numbers guys because we're salesmen. Numbers, I want to hear the numbers. I'm bold enough to ask everyone. What was your invoice on this? I think it was $60K for.
Mine was $217,000.
Yeah, that's
that's
40
containers.
40 containers.
40 containers. So numbers, man, numbers. I'm all about the numbers.
Yeah.
Do you know what time it is?
What time is it, Eddie?
It's old-fashioned time.
Let's do it. Who do we have coming down for the old-fashioned?
We have George Kintrest coming down. We'll be right back after these words.
Let's do it.
So we're back. We're back for episode number 2.
Yeah.
This is old-fashioned time. Ty, why don't you tell us a little history on the old-fashioned?
Well, since number 1, it's our favorite drink. We met over an old fashioned, but number 2, we love the significance of our gap in our age gap and the fact that we have so many old-fashioned ways to do business and so many new-fashioned ways to do business that all work. And I feel like that's what makes our relationship great.
So, what's the new way of doing things that I still do the old way?
Well, before that, let's cheers.
All right, yeah, good idea. Cheers to the
Cheers, guys.
old-fashioned. Cheers. We got George Kintrest here.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Glad to
be
have
here.
you.
So, a new way of doing business that I would say for me is, well, we'll start with the old. Business cards. That's what we're talking about now. Business cards, which obviously are super important, whether you're at any event, anything you're doing, you want to get your business cards out, you want to get some material out, that way people are able to hold it, go back to it. You know, a lot of people most people take business cards very serious, but there are different ways to go about it. The way normal people go about it is printing out a normal business card. You know, we have George's card, which is actually, I like
Not
George's.
normal at
it's
all.
not normal. I like the fact that it's a square shape, so it stands out, and if it's sitting amongst a bunch of other cards.
Right.
But
Minimalist on it, too.
very minimalist.
Minimal.
Digital business cards are also a great, which I use. I have physicals as well, but the digital business card now allows you to, whether you're using something like the Blink app or a dot card, they allow for when you scan into someone, whether it's a QR code or whether you tap their phone with they might give you a physical card or you might have the QR code on your phone. When they scan that code, they get all of your information, but it also sends them an immediate form to put their information in, which now they put in their name, company information. Boom, you get the email with the full layout. Whereas if you just handed them their card, if say they didn't have one or for some reason they ran out at the show, don't worry about it. Just take this scan, type this stuff in. It'll be in my email when I get back to the office. So that's,
I want to add to that.
Yeah.
If you bump into someone that has a digital card, you scan theirs. They can scan yours. That's okay, but scan theirs. Because sometimes people forget, they lose it, they didn't hit save to contacts, and it's gone. But if you do a little double up, make sure that if they offer you the opportunity to scan them, I always scan them first.
And follow up.
So
When you get that information, that data is super important. Make sure you use it. Don't sleep on it. It's in your database for a reason.
So Ty mentioned, what do you do with all these business cards? I arrange them by event, because basically it's events that I go to that I pick up the most cards from, and I'll keep them rubber band with a little yellow notepad on there, Chamber of Commerce meeting, or wherever I was. It kind of brings you back to the event. Was it a good event? Or did it suck? Not to go back to that one next year. But it kind of brings you brings you back. You were there. You met this person. You had this conversation. I have a rule of thumb. I take a business card. I am not following up for 7 days. Don't need to weigh them down with, I just met you yesterday. I don't need to email you tomorrow. Yeah. Unless you said I want to place an order, I'm going to leave you be. And one of the intentional things I do in the subject of that first email, we met at the Melville Chamber dinner. Right away, giving them a specific, whether they want to talk to me or not. Right. And sometimes they don't, but for the most part, when you put that in the subject title, to me, it's giving them, hey, yeah, I want to talk to Eddie. He called. Yeah. It's just the way I do it, and I go.
I like that because you want to be more of a pleasant surprise than badgering somebody. If it's 7 days later, like you say, and that's more of like I did speak to that guy. Oh, you know what? That's a pleasant surprise now because it's like I needed him and he didn't harass me.
Sure, and I'm sure they get bombarded, right?
Yeah.
So if you're calling back literally the next day, I'm sure.
You seem desperate.
300 other people calling back, and
exactly.
I have like a little system when I do shows and whatnot. I get their card, I put a little red mark. All right, this guy's really important.
Oh yeah,
because you're gonna get so many cards. Right?
Yeah,
it's like this guy's worth talking to. Maybe there's an opportunity, maybe there's not. So kind of you, by level of importance, try and file them that way. And I do both. The digital card, right? I'm 50 years old, right? 50 years old, so I have digital card and I have the paper card. So when I'm dealing with someone that's younger, maybe more tech savvy, I'll take out my digital card. You know, instead of, you know, I try to fit in, have something in common with them instead of looking at like a dinosaur. The older guys like me, just give me the card, you know. So
I'm going to share something that I don't even know if you both know. I was doing this digital thing 5 years ago
oh wow.
through LinkedIn. On your phone, there's a button to press that you have your own QR code. And when you press that button,
Brings you right to the LinkedIn.
again, it's the same thing. They take a picture, scan the whole thing. It was on LinkedIn. It's on your LinkedIn app. And people didn't even know they had it. I was teaching people all these things. Again, if someone is on LinkedIn, scan their info.
Sure. Yeah.
That's just the best tip I can give you because, you know, some people. This particular event I went to, there was a huge builder in New York City. Everybody was haunting this guy. Cards. He was blowing everybody off. I had my 15 minutes with him, and I literally said to him, I don't want your card, but do you mind if we connect on LinkedIn? He goes, yeah, sure. I'm like, would you mind taking your phone out so we can do that? And he had no idea, and I showed him, and he was very pleasant, and I was able to reach out to him afterwards. I was the only one in that room that got a card from him.
Right.
Because nobody else knew to do that. So little stuff like that.
And you were confident. You weren't afraid to ask, right?
Not afraid. You know, you can't. My boss said it to me the other day. He goes, Eddie, that's one thing about you. You're not afraid to ask for the business. Whatever the business is, your phone number, the sale.
Sure.
I'm not afraid to ask. What's the worst they can say? No.
No, I agree. That's so important. People don't realize confidence. When you become an A player as a sales rep, it takes time, right? But once you get that confidence, you believe in yourself, you really believe in yourself, things just start to click.
Yeah.
And, you know, you know what you're talking about. It just comes out naturally.
And that's
people
why
are
you're
drawn.
here. That
Yeah.
is why you're here, because that's how I view
I
you as
appreciate
a
it.
sales
Thank
rep.
you. Thank you.
You know, listen, I have hundreds of friends in the business,
Yeah.
all kinds of businesses. They don't all stand out as someone I want to sit for 20 minutes to figure out how'd you get to the top, because I know you got to the top, and I know you're working for a top company. So why don't you tell us about your company first?
Sure. So I'm an outside sales rep with GAF, Commercial Roofing Systems. So basically what I do is I deal with architects, try to get written into the spec to use our product. I deal with distribution, who sells our product, help regulate pricing, wear the hats, right? So when I mean wear the hats, it's not just you're a sales rep. You have a logistics hat, you have a financing hat, you have the complaint department hat, technical hat. So guys and girls don't realize when you're a sales rep, there's so many different roles, right? Don't just focus on one. Try and get good at all of them.
Yeah.
Because, you know, in real life, things happen. There's going to be so many situations where when you think it was just point A to point B, there's going to be a long turn and you're going to have to go through some different areas that you're not comfortable, right? And get comfortable being uncomfortable. So take everything with a grain of salt.
So for today, my uncomfortable was we once a week get a list of bad debt. People who haven't paid their bills. And they expect us, the sales reps, to make those calls because accounts payable's phone number's in Florida, and they know it's a Florida number. They know it's accounts payable, and they're not answering. So I called the company today, did the follow-up, checks in the mail. 3 months. Okay, let's hope they're not lying. The check's in the mail. But they seemed they gave me the check number, the amount, so I was very confident. But why do I got to do that? Because it's part of my job. Sure. Because otherwise, that revenue gets deducted from my revenue. So if I don't get paid, it's invisible income. So you want to give it away, or you want to extend your job, be a sales rep who goes and makes sure the payments are made.
Right. And you're going to have those awkward conversations, right? They're not all going to be peachy sunshine. It's going to rain sometimes.
What I've learned is to not go on the defense when it comes to the money. Don't attack.
No.
Ask.
Yep.
We're having a problem. We don't see your payment here. Did you make one? That's a whole lot better than, you owe us 3 months and we want our money now, otherwise we're coming to pick up the container.
Yeah.
Well, I've done that. I've learned my lesson and licked my wounds.
Sure.
Live and learn.
Going back to what you said about wearing many hats, I feel you on that because, you know, having a new company where obviously I don't have 100 employees, I can't delegate to all of this stuff. I do everything. I'm doing the sales. I'm running the crew. I'm, you know, handling all sides of it. And I understand how that can be stressful. And I always would say, hey, if I could just get a sales job, all I have to worry about is making phone calls. But no, if you're a successful salesman, you're worrying about a lot more than phone calls. You're handling everything. You know, obviously, you want the sale to go you closed it, right? And now you needed to go exactly how you
Said it was going to close.
said it was going to close. So now you got to jump into everybody's department, and
Sure. Well, listen, if you ever do go for a straight out sales position, you got a great background, right? So you've dealt with many of the problems. I've actually been in your position. I was a business owner for 27 years. Did a lot of business to business renovations, roofing, siding, windows. Always sold my own work. Was pretty good at it. And once I turned 45, I said, you know what? Let me put down the hammer and pick up the pen, start using my skills. And I'll tell you, to be honest, with many of my customers now, they could relate because I've been in their situation. I know what it's like to pay labor. I know what it's like to not have product come there and you're paying 6 guys. So, it's kind of like they don't look at me as a sales rep. They look at me more as a friend and a trusted advisor.
Consultant.
So, yeah, consultant.
Yeah.
So I think you'll do great, man, because you've been on both sides.
Yeah, thank you. So you started to answer our first question, but I wanted you to pretty much tell us how you went from that to roofing and being a salesman and
Sure.
that transition.
Sure. So I have 2 daughters, 17 and 18. Married 22 years.
Took too long. I'm
2
married.
yeah.
Are you
Well, wait a minute.
are
Is this
you-
just one drink or the second one we're on?
So you're 2003.
2000, right, 2003. I mean, we were dating together longer, but married, so 2 daughters, 17, 18. One's in college, one's a senior. I said to myself at 45, I said, you know what? I've had about 15 or 20 guys working for me at the same time, and I seen some of the older gentlemen saying to myself, you know what? They're walking like bent over, the backs, their knees, it takes its toll on its body. It's a young man's game. I said, you know what? I don't want to be that guy. I want to enjoy my life. Have the weekends off. My God, I never had weekends off and paid insurance, up until 5 years ago. I'm like, wow, this is what life is like.
This is what we do.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can actually go away on vacation.
On Friday and come back Monday.
Yeah. Or when you go away, you're not afraid, a truck broke down, this job took 3 extra days because you're not there, kind of like when the mouse is away, the cat will play.
Yeah.
So I said, you know what, I don't want to be that guy, and I want to evolve and get good at sales and learn how to help people. And so far, so good. I've been very blessed.
So, what unique challenges and opportunities do you encounter when selling roofing services compared to other industries?
Other industries. All right, so it's very technical, right? All our products are very similar. I guess one of the biggest things that, like in any business, people come at you is with, well, price. Price is the first
Price
thing
is
people
king.
go to. Excuse me, price is king. But you know what? There's a lot more than price. So I say to my guys, I say, listen, what am I worth to you? I'm there 24/7 for you. I answer my phone 10 o'clock at night. I'll work the weekends for you. I want to see you evolve and grow your business. And I know the other reps in my industry, right? Because I know my market, I know my clients, I know my competition. I got good at knowing those 3 things. So I say to them, is that really worth being the same price or 5% more? Is that worth it to you? I know if I was a business owner for pennies, that would be worth it to me. I'm not saying we're the most expensive or the least expensive, but just to have that peace of mind. Now, an experienced sales business owner gets that, right? Let's say where they talk about a chuck in a truck, right? So basically, a guy gives you a price, he just installs back of his truck. Here's a sample, write down on a napkin. Here's a price. They're not spending 2 hours going over every intricate detail and really, reinvesting in the company and growing it.
Yeah. Yes.
So, I mean, that was one of the things, actually, what I'm doing now. Public speaking or doing demos.
Hey, George, I want to interrupt you for a second. I want you to read the first 2 lines. It's so apropos.
Not shrinking in the big moment.
Doing a demo. Tell us about shrinking in the big moment.
So actually, that's one of my things that I sucked at. I was horrible at it. So during my first sales job, we went to Ohio training. It was about 30 of us. So they put us in groups, and our test was to do a demo for our regionals and whatnot. So I think just building up the hype, getting nervous. Oh my God, what if I suck?
What do I talk
What if
about?
this? What if? And I'm sitting there, I'm saying to myself, I was horrible, right? But I swore to myself after that I was going to get good at it. And I read somewhere that 97% of the times you're hyping yourself up for shit that's not going to happen. It only happens 3% of the time. So I said to myself, who am I kidding? So after some practice, I got good at it. Like anything, practice makes perfect, right? You just have to put the time in and go through the motions.
Well, I have a crazy story. I was doing sales for a solar company, and they trained us up in Connecticut, and we had the same thing. We had to do our demo in front of the board and go up in front of everybody and do this whole pitch, act like we're walking people around to the meter and show this whole thing. And the thing is, I had a great pitch. My pitch was awesome. I put no effort into it. I've always played instruments and sang and performed and things like that. So I'm good under the spotlight, but I put no effort into it. But they graded me lower than people's pitches who weren't as good as mine. But I started to notice they're not grading on how good your pitch is. They're grading on the effort you're putting behind it. I don't care if your pitch is A+. They can see that I didn't.
Right.
I just grabbed some information and I just put it right here, rather than the people who couldn't get it as quick, but they worked their asses off, and those people got a higher grade. So sometimes it's put in the work, because if you're natural at things, if you just put in a little bit of work, then you will be the best.
I agree.
So I want to dial back to a second ago. You had mentioned price. So many clients are price. You can't get through the door unless your price is here. Price. I don't sell by price.
Me too.
My container, I'm just going to use a round number, $239 a month for a 16-foot container. You can get a 20-foot container for $149.
Oh, wow.
You can't move that container full. You can't put it in my warehouse or somebody's warehouse full. You can't ship it out of state full. All the things I'm saying are things that my clients need. So it's not cut and dry just about the price. What else do I bring to the table aside from just that container? What other services does Pods offer that are going to wow you? And I just dial back to last week when I said to that client, are you going to reach out to other companies? And Ty's like, well, who else is there?
Right.
You are it.
That's something that people need to learn, and they need to take that into, especially people my age. I'm 33. There's a lot of people my age in this time starting businesses. After COVID, everyone has a business now.
Yeah,
Sure.
so true.
Whether they're doing great, whatever, they still need to hear some of these things. And the one thing I have to say that I learned is don't get into competition with
your
people,
competition.
Yeah, no, I get
Great
it.
call.
because as a junk removal, moving, a guy that does a lot of labor, my company does the things that nobody wants to do, right? So if I go into a house and they say, hey, well, the other guy told me he'll do it for $900, your price was $1,500, or this guy will do it for $1,000, you said $2,000. I'm a white glove service. I'm not Uncle Bobo in his van.
Sure.
Coming,
Uncle Bobo.
Uncle Bobo and his van.
Right.
Someone you're not even comfortable with being in your house.
Sure.
You're like, I want to get this guy out of here as fast as I can. No,
Right.
I'm somebody that you want to make dinner for
Right.
before the job is over.
Which is cool.
That's a different. You get what you pay for.
Yep. I
Do
totally
you
agree.
want to walk on ice with this job, or do you want it done the right way, exactly how you want it?
It's funny you should say that. So I've sold products. So one of the companies I worked for, they were the cheapest, right?
Yeah.
So I kind of got that experience, right? When you're the cheapest, you're just selling volume, right? You should say, wait a minute, not the cheapest, the least expensive.
The least
right?
expensive,
Don't say that
yes.
word. That's a curse word. Cheapest, the least expensive. And it's a different clientele, customer you're dealing with. And you know, at the end of the day, someone can drop a couple of cents a dollar. There'll always be someone cheaper. So what are you really offering?
Yep.
Then, on the other hand, I sold for a company. We were the most expensive, top quality. So you learn how to, sell value and pitch the right points. And you're dealing with a different type of customer.
The market is
Different mindset.
Totally different. So here, price, right? Here, quality. And I would say to them, would you rather sell a lot of this, tons of it, make small margins? Would you rather sell less of this and make more margins? I go, which one do you pick? What's more work and less work?
And the market is there for both.
Yeah, and listen, there's enough room in the sandbox for everyone.
Everyone.
People don't realize it. I say, nobody wants to hear the me game. Spread it out. There's plenty, there's plenty to go around.
Yeah.
So building trust with your clientele obviously is really important.
Sure.
What is it that you do that gets people to trust you enough to spend? Because I know your product is high end. Spend that extra money. What is your trust value?
So what do I do? Basically, to be honest with you,
No, lie. Lie to us.
honestly, and I'm going to be honest with you. So I'm second generation in home improvements and building material.
Yeah.
I take it to heart. I mean, I eat, sleep, live, and die this shit. I love it. It excites me when I drive by with my children. Hey, look, that building, we help with that product. I take it personally.
Yeah.
And I'm straight. You got to be straight. Yeah, we all want a sale. Sometimes you got to walk away for it if it's not the right fit. But just be honest. Show your customer that you genuinely care. Don't look at them like a piece of meat with a dollar sign. Because yeah, you'll get a few sales. If they see, through your core that you really care about them, you want to help them grow their business, which I've done with many people, they respect that and they don't forget you. Go that extra mile and just trying to help them grow their business, and do it with a smile, right?
Yeah.
Don't make it all about you. Talk to them, ask questions, open-ended questions. Let them talk. Sometimes we just have to shut up and listen.
So it's funny. On our way here, we were talking about a project.
Okay.
And my words to him was, sometimes you have to walk away from the project. It just doesn't fit, whether it's the price, the time, the date. Did we not just have that conversation?
And I used to run myself dry.
Oh, God. Say
trying
yes to everybody.
I was saying yes to everybody.
He was.
Been there, done that,
Squeezing
yeah.
things where it's just...
In the long run, it doesn't benefit the customer or you.
No, yeah, you're right. I mean, and just to take something because you took it because it looks pretty on paper, like I said, you have to walk away. Sometimes it could end up hurting you. And yeah, we all want the business, right? But we want the right kind of business as well.
Yeah.
And you don't want to be bombarded either.
No, it's funny because we did that trip last Tuesday. It's already Tuesday the following week. And I said to Ty on the way here, I said, hey, did you follow up with Stephanie? He goes, no, not after your last email. Because my last email, I asked for the business, and she said, we're not there yet.
Oh, okay.
So we're not there yet means we're in a holding pattern until you're there. I'm not going to bother you. I'm not going to annoy you. He's not going to annoy you. We're going to sit in the holding pattern and wait for you to make your decision.
Until you're ready.
Best thing we can do. We want the business. We put our cards on the table. We gave you our numbers, our business value, what we can produce for you. Now it's in your hands. And sometimes you just forget about it. Walk away. Yeah. And when you get that call, we'll celebrate.
How good does that feel, right?
We'll get that call.
So obviously we're in the middle of February, almost the end. How is the weather affecting the roofing industry and when you guys can work and can't work and things like that?
So it affects it big time. On the residential side, technically, you're not supposed to install up until like after 40 degrees.
Okay.
On the commercial side, some of our products have a little lower tolerance. But to be honest with you, nobody's really going out there in snow and rain and doing ribs unless, right, you have an emergency or crisis with the building. So for many sales reps in many industries, depending on the industry, I would say from December to February is hunt mode, right? So you're out there trying to prepare for for this year, right? Get new customers,
For the seeds to blossom.
Right, for the seeds, right? When you guys were talking earlier,
planting
I'm like, you have to
seeds.
be a farmer, right?
Yeah,
And collect on those
absolutely.
kind of like dividends down the road. So we're in hunt mode and trying to reach out to new customers, existing customers, maybe customers we haven't heard from in a while, and try and get some conversions out there. Look at public work, private work, and just build up your pipeline, man. The pipeline is so important. If you have a nice and healthy pipeline, you pretty much know what direction your year is going to head in.
Well, that's the plus side of it, I guess, because when you're doing your farming, as you said, that
Seeds are going to sprout, man.
you could see your stuff coming in
Yeah.
over the next year. Like, oh, this is going to be a great summer. This is going to be,
course.
and you got to plan accordingly. It's like it's the same thing. But this year's been different. Usually, with the junk removal, moving is always going. Everyone's moving all the time. But with the junk removal is where we really make bank. When we're doing these full house clean outs and things like that. When it gets cold, it gets a little rough. But this year, for some reason, things have still been moving around. People have been just going. I guess maybe it's less snow or whatever it is people are going.
Yeah.
Let's talk technology. So you work for GAF. I will call it GAF. I know I said to you it's a German company.
Yes.
Having
correct.
grown up in the printing industry, and the word Heidelberg meant the highest standard. That was a German printing press, and
Correct.
you could not. That was the top. So when you say you're working for a German company, how's your technology? Where's your technology compared to everybody else?
I would say pretty advanced. So a lot of the services we offer, right, our systems are fully, updated and as far as current with the times. But we offer so many services as far as with Google Earth, and we have whole teams that could basically pull up a building, right, look at it, see if it's flat. Well, you know what? We can build up some insulation, create a tapered design package to manage the water to go to the drains or off the edge. Or with just a couple clicks, give us a report, have it by the end of the day to the customer. this is what you need, this is how many pieces you're going to need, this is how many truckloads it's going to be, and your distributor will give you the cost. So yeah, technology's come a long way as far as thermal scanning, checking for moisture in the roofing system. I love technology. Listen, if you're going to grow in today's market, it's extremely relevant. Everything is gearing more and more every day towards new technology, and you have to accept it, right? We can't be dinosaurs. Me personally, I love it. The newest gadget comes out. I have a nice little drone. I love it. It's a constant learning.
He's 450. You're 33. I'm 60. Mm-hmm. I love technology. I have a 15-year-old daughter. I want to know all about technology. I want to understand it. I don't want to be afraid of it. I don't want to be scared of it. I want to embrace it and utilize it to succeed. If you're afraid to use it, hey, listen, this is freaking AI right here, baby.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're right.
Sorry about it.
That's funny. But you want to laugh like my parents, when we got right to the soul, but my parents, when I would give them a new iPhone or something, I swear to God, it was like I was handing them the remote control to the space shuttle. They were like,
Exactly.
What is this? Oh my God. I'm like, it's not that easy. Just push it on me. Oh, no. Give me my flip phone. I'm like, all right, guys. So not everyone's open to it. You know what? Try new things. Give it a try.
Yeah, you have to give it a try.
What's the worst thing going to happen?
The newest thing I've been doing is like when I'm going into my quotes for clean outs and stuff, I'm using 3D scans.
Oh,
So
nice.
that's what
So
I wanted
now-
to say.
Yeah.
Oh my God, tell them about the other day.
From your phone?
So
The
yeah,
FLIR?
so
FLIR?
so I go in, you do a full layout 3D scan, and then you can then open it back up through your email, through whatever on your computer. That way, where I used to go and take a laundry list of things I need to do, now I just do a 3D scan. I put myself right back into that house, right back into that building.
You did it last week when we were in the city.
Yeah.
You did every room.
Yeah,
I have
that's
every
impressive.
room as I can zoom. I can walk the room as if I'm there. That way, you don't have to take all of these crazy detailed notes. Just do a 3D scan. You go sit down at your desk now. You pull that 3D scan up, and now boom.
You see everything.
I see it all now.
It doesn't lie either. It's accurate as
doesn't
can
lie.
be.
Oh, it's as accurate as me. You can send it back to the client and then, listen. This is everything that we clear. I'm going to send you the new one after the job is done, and I'm going to send you the old one.
That's right,
And you're going to
before and
walk through
after.
both of them.
How about like social media, like video? So my daughters crack up because I'll sit there and in my car on a job site and I'll do like a TikTok video. She's like, Dad, why are you doing TikTok? I'm like, why? I go, because maybe the right person will see it. I can help someone out, or maybe it'll help, put more food on your plate, honey. That's why.
Yeah, little things. Why are you doing that?
Little things. Pay for your college if that's paying for. But, I'm all about embracing technology. You have to, roll with the times, and like anything else, strategic,
So you got 2 kids. There are 12 grandchildren. We all live in Coma.
Wow.
All the kids live in
God
Coma.
bless.
So I have 5. There's 12 grandkids, okay?
Must have patience of a saint.
So in 2023,
Right.
I decided every Monday I was going to do a TikTok video.
Oh, nice.
Part of the stuff from the book.
Sure.
Went to that first family function. These sons of bitches pulled up their phone, all of them at the same time, playing me, Eddie Potts,
Oh, that's
and
too
like
funny.
mocking. They weren't being nice.
They
They
were
were
busting chops.
mocking
They were
me.
busting your chops.
It was the funniest thing. I stopped doing it. I was like, my freaking nieces and nephews are bringing me down.
Yeah. Remember that time.
Oh, yeah,
right?
I'll get them back.
When Daddy pulls up with his brand new Bentley limo
Yeah,
driver.
you
Hey,
ain't getting
Dad!
that Jeep.
Wait a minute. Play it back, honey. That's funny.
So my next question is, how do you maintain your relationships in a project through all of those moving parts? I know you have to build a relationship with the contractors, you have to, inspectors, all of these different things. How do you, keep that all in a smooth, streamlined process for your big jobs?
My calendar on my phone helps a lot.
Yeah.
If you look at my phone, I probably have each day. I put in my notes. I have
What do you use?
alerts.
Calendly? What do you use?
On my Google. I use
Google,
Google.
Google,
So
okay.
it sends me reminders.
Yeah, I
and,
use Google too for everything.
Salesforce too, right? So I set my reminders in Salesforce religiously on my phone because it's quick.
Always
it's right
there.
there.
Yeah.
And it'll send me a reminder, call back this one. But, like anything, you have to put the information in. And, sometimes you do forget. But, I try my best. Listen, we're human, right? Nobody's perfect. So occasionally you'll have a screw up. But for the most part, I try to put everything on my phone and just follow up. So I have like a list of what I have to do every day, right?
Yeah.
So let's say there's 10 things I have to do or 10 people I got to call or emails. On that list, I'll mark off these 5 no matter what. Today, I have to do priorities. These 5 have to get done regardless. And maybe if I didn't get to the lesser important ones, all right, well, it goes on tomorrow's list.
How do you now? Let's say for a project, do you use the same list of contractors, same list of inspectors, like when it comes to these buildings that you guys are doing?
Sure. So
You
we
a
have
script
at
sheet?
GF, we have our designated inspectors, right?
Yep.
Because we help issue a warranty through certified. So there's quite a few certified contractors, right?
Mm-hmm.
So they get the job. Basically, we don't get the job, but what we do is we'll offer services. We'll come, we'll inspect, make sure they're doing it the right way,
Mm-hmm.
or if they run into an issue, Pete the builder, whatever, move this. Hey, what's the right way to go about this detail now to alter it? So it's more of like an advise. We advise, but then on the other hand, when you get the call, hey, distribution they didn't send, which is not on me. That's
Yeah,
on them.
yeah.
I'll reach out to them. Hey, do me a favor, show them a little love, take care of this,
Yeah,
assist. Just want to let you know what's coming down the road, so maybe you guys could prepare. And it's just assisting people and. Constant communication. I know
Yeah.
that these 5 people or 4 people in this project, I have a list I got to maintain daily communications with.
It's funny. The next question was objections, common hurdles in the sales, and it's like if you take price out of it, the hurdles are you going to be able to do the job or aren't you going to be able to do the job? Does your bullshit that you're talking to me right now
Does it
make
work?
me believe that you're the man for the job, that you're going to take ownership of this, you're going to do all these little things that you're telling us you're going to do? And that's the difference between the winners and the losers. Because the losers will say anything to close a deal.
Right.
A winner knows when to shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
You don't commit to things that you can't commit to.
Yep.
Don't oversell yourself and come up short.
I agree.
Pro-
There's been so many times I've referred other people in my business. When I was a contractor, if there's something I couldn't do, I'll be honest with you, that's above my scope. I know someone that's really good. Let me refer John to you.
Yep.
And that goes a long way with a customer. They'll say, hey, you know what? At least he was honest. He referred, John to me. He wasn't able to do it. And, it worked out great for them. So people remember that,
Yeah.
that you went out of your way to help them solve their problem. And at the end of the day, we're solving problems, right? It's not rocket science.
I
We're
say
either,
that all the time. We're
right,
solving
we're either
problems.
shipping a product, we're a big delivery company or manufacturer.
Yep.
When it comes down to it, just moving stuff around. It's not rocket science, and you don't have to make it more than it really is.
Yeah.
People get stressed out. What if? Listen, you can't live your life by what if.
Yeah. So my next question is your lead generation. Like, what are your key strategies for generating new leads?
So generating leads. So we do have at our corporate people that generate leads for us, expired warranties, right? So when their warranties are up after 20 years, 25 years, they give us that information. We reach out to them. We'll say, hey, can we do a roof walk? Check out the condition. Say, hey, maybe we can refer this. It needs to be redone, or maybe you need some repairs. And we'll make that connection, bring them a contractor, set that up as well, an introduction that's certified.
Yeah.
Honestly, hitting the grind, man. So very simple as Google. Like, I'll go in a certain area, do a search, 50 top roofers, contractors, and I'll try and, give them a buzz. I'll go on my competitor's website. They're all listed there, the certified guys. So I'll start from there. Guys that are specifically doing my, type of work
Yeah.
I'm involved in, but for my competition, and try and gain conversions.
Yeah,
People think it's so hard. It's not hard. I'll use a perfect example. So last week, my wife's good friend, her son, he's 26 years old. His name is Jason. He's looking for a job. He was an insurance agent for 2 months. He goes, George, can you find me a job? I said, well, what are you looking for?
Anything.
So he goes to me this. He goes, well, I have my license, but I didn't like it that it was commissions only. I want something where I don't have to go out and get the leads, but I'm good at closing. I said, something, Jason? I'm going to be honest with you.
Sales isn't for you.
That doesn't work. He goes, what do you mean? I said, you want to do the close? I go, you don't know how to close. Well, I do. I go, no, you don't. I go, if you can't go out there and generate business, there's no way you know how to close.
Yeah.
I go, be realistic. So he took what I had to say with him, grain of salt. I recommended him to a smaller new company that are looking for inexperienced guys that'll train, and he gave him a call. But, like getting back to that, no CEO becomes a CEO their first shot
Absolutely.
without any experience. You have to crawl before you walk.
Yeah,
It's just the way
and
it
that
is.
goes back to what we were saying
Yeah.
earlier. Yeah, you
Yeah.
gotta learn. You gotta take that time to learn.
Yeah.
Sales leads are unique. Everyone on my team, we all have the same leads. Your territory, my territory. So why does Eddie Pods bring in 30% new business every month and everybody else is hovering around 5 to 8%?
So everybody knows Eddie Pods, and Eddie Pods must do the right thing, I guess, right?
I had a guy call me out the other day. You're always, yeah, you, everyone's talking about you. And I said, you want to know why? Because I'm the best. That's
There you
it.
go.
I'm at the top. And when you're at the top, everybody wants to drag your ass down. How did you
100%.
get there? How did you get there? I do everything by the book. I do everything with approval from bosses. I don't walk without making sure. He knows. He's been in my office 10 times hearing me,
Yep.
pitch ideas to my boss. Go for it, Eddie. If you can close that, go for it. I'm going out to Vegas on Sunday, and I got a meeting with Formula One Racing Vegas.
Wow, that's
okay.
cool.
There's been a guy in Vegas for 5 years. He never once called upon them. I've been given the opportunity to now expand my horizons, and I was going to ask you this: have you ever heard of Zoom Info?
Yes, I have.
I use it.
Oh, do you really?
I love it.
I've heard of it. I've never used it.
Accuracy is about 70%.
Okay.
But I came up with 75 email addresses and names and phone numbers from people at F1. I sent out an introductory email on a Sunday afternoon. Hey, good afternoon. Good Sunday afternoon. So they know I'm working Sunday and it's not a drone doing it.
Sure.
I got 2 hits, had a follow-up call, meeting them in person next week.
Wow. And that's Zoom Info, you said?
Zoom Info. You might want
Wow.
to check that out.
Actually, I
it's a
would
great
love to
search
check it
engine.
out.
That's a good.
Yeah,
key
you
right
could come
there.
to. One day I'll open up my. I am not that. I don't need it on my phone. All my teammates have it on the phone. When I'm on the road, I'm on the road. I don't work. I don't work while I'm on the road. I work when I'm back in the hotel and I have my laptop, but I'm not interested in logging onto Salesforce on my phone. I could give a crap, and I don't care about Zoom Info when I'm on. It's just
And everybody knows you. Like, you're really big on LinkedIn, right?
Yeah.
And, we both do LinkedIn, all of us. And, have you ever gotten the question where people come up to you like, why do you do LinkedIn? You're self-promoting yourself. You're just for self-promotion. And I laugh and I say, you know what?
Building a brand, man.
You're right. You're building. It's not
supposed to
self-promotion
do.
just because you don't want to take the energy or you don't have the skills to
Haters,
put it out.
man.
Yeah,
Haters.
exactly.
There's always going to be
And
haters.
I don't get that. I'm like, I'm posting relevant stuff about what we do in the product.
Jealousy. It's jealousy.
Yeah, there's always going to be people chatting,
Yeah.
man. But at the same time, if they're not talking about you, then you're not doing anything.
Exactly. Good point.
If they're talking
Excellent
about
point.
you, then there's something to be talked about.
Yep.
You know.
You take the last one. Yeah.
So, what trends do you see shaping in the future for the roofing industry? How do you plan to adapt your sales approach to stay ahead of the curve?
How do I plan to stay ahead of the curve? I'm going to say, well, let's talk about how I see the future. I see it going great, right?
Yeah.
There's always a demand. So roofing isn't like, let's say, decking or painting. It's a necessity, right? And especially if you have bad weather, like the crazy weather we get, it's something that can't be put off. If your roof is leaking on a building, on a residential, whatever, has to get done no matter what. In some form, shape, or way, repair, reinstall, complete roof, whatever. You got to do it. As far as how we're gonna, stay ahead of the curve, honestly, just be myself. I'm not gonna sweat the little things. I'm gonna go aggressively after business and just keep doing what I've been doing that seems to work. And I'm open to new things. I'm always open to. I love new things. If it's something, that I'm doing the wrong way or I could do better and it can benefit me, my organization, I'm all for it. I love change, so I get bored easy. I don't have.
What's the education factor at your company? Do they bring you into product demonstration
Yes.
and understanding how they work
They
so
do.
you could speak upon it?
So they do. So we actually do AIAs for architects. There's a lot of technical stuff. I mean, I've been there 6 months, so I'm still learning. But I've learned just enough to be dangerous, right? There's guys that have been there 10 years, and they tell me, George, it takes such a long time. But I enjoy it. I'll go up on the roofs, just do roof walks so I can learn visually, because I'm better at visual. So I go up there and I learn and I see what's going on. But it's constant education, right? We advise people. Let's say we'll meet with the crew that is working on a hospital. What do you recommend? And we'll come up with the system. We'll take core samples and we'll say, well, you know what? We recommend this type of system, due to the wind in this area, the height. So every building is a little different, right? And every situation and every budget is different too. So
But that GC background really what's helped separate
It
you
helps.
from other people, though. It has to. It makes you a little bit
Yeah.
up higher here.
I think so. I'm not afraid to climb up a ladder. I'm not afraid to get my hands
No,
dirty.
but the knowledge
The knowledge, yeah.
from running a project, you're not just
100%.
selling a product.
Yep. No, I agree. That definitely helps my background. My dad used to bring me 8 years old. Now they put you in jail on the weekends with a garbage bag. That was off the boat from Greece. I'm a first generation contractor, and he said, "Here, take a garbage bag on Saturdays, go clean up this and that." 2 stories above me, guys, there was stuff falling down. He goes, "You'll be fine. Just help out your family." And that's, yeah, exactly. That was,
Dodge it.
But it was a good experience. So it taught me the value of a dollar, right, and how hard it is. And I try to teach my family that. I said, it's not easy to make money, but you have to appreciate it. So they have payments on their cars. I helped them out in the beginning. I said, "Here's your payment, here's your insurance." Well, guess what? You got skin in the game now. When you have skin in the game on something, you feel the pain a little bit more. So you tend to appreciate it more as well.
We are very similar when it comes to that, and I guess that's why we connect so well. Because my daughter recently had an accident, and we told her.
Sorry to hear that.
Yep, she was fine. She totaled my truck. We told her, whatever the increase is in insurance, you own it. And she was like, "Thank you." She actually said, "Thank you for not taking my car away, and we'll take your car away. You totaled mine. Hello."
Right. Yeah, we always get the crap end of the deal somehow as a parent.
She will never drive my new vehicle ever, ever. Not happening.
I
Not
know.
happening.
Things happen, so it sucks. What are you gonna do? It's part of growing up. I was a kid. I wrecked a car.
Oh yeah.
I'm sorry, I didn't wreck a car. I had a heavy foot. I used to blow rear ends and transmissions. My dad, my son could break a tank with his heavy foot,
My mom used to call me doodle fingers. Because I used to break everything I touched. Any car. I remember my first car I got, I just didn't realize how to get an oil change.
Oh, wow.
Just drove the car. Just drove the car until the wheels fell off, and then that's what happened.
There's a learning curve with everything, right?
All right. Before one of our last segments, and I'm glad you're here for it because you could share with me trade show tips. So everyone who in my world knows I'm going out to Vegas for the IBS International Builders Show. There are going to be 1,500 vendors. Over 65,000 people are going to walk the show. The question is, what do you do before you go to the show? So a couple of tips that I like to give. One, when you become a vendor, you get the vendor roster list. I like to do business with the vendors before I even have to touch the attendees.
Right.
So I reach out to them beforehand. So I got my list of all the companies that are going to be there. I go into Zoom Info,
Nice.
pop in the name of the company, and now I have a list of all the people that are there. Now accuracy is about 70-75%. But you can send yourself a nice introductory email. Would you like to grab a drink? You know how many people want to say yes to, you want to grab a drink, my treat? My company's very generous with me. You smart enough to go do what you have to do. But I got up to 70, and I didn't even get through G.
That's funny, yeah.
It's an alphabetical. There's just so much happening.
Most people don't take the effort to do that, though. That's great.
Doing the preempt of that, I found out that there's a party. There's always a sponsored party. You know that from going to Vegas. It's always sold out. It's a back entrance somewhere because not everyone can go there. So the guy that signed me up for the show, I'm like, "Dude, hook me up." I said, "I just need 2 tickets, man. That's it." He goes, "That's it?" He goes, "Yeah." I said, I'll take you to lunch. I don't care." So I got tickets to that event so I could go schmooze with these people. I've also, because I'm in town, I set up another meeting with another company, like I mentioned, F1, being prepared there. So the show starts on Tuesday. I get in on Sunday, set up the booth Monday, but Monday is networking day. Monday is to meet everybody who's got a booth, I'm going to go chat with. I'm going to go grab their card. We're going to have a little conversation. Leo, we talked earlier about what you do with those business cards. That'll be for later on. You always know who you like. Of course. You always know who the guy, I'll have a beer with this guy. I'll have a burger with this guy.
You feel the energy.
Yeah, you always know. You always know. I'm going to be setting up bourbon at my table.
Nice.
Pick up some bourbon, get some glasses.
Smart.
I'm going to try to attract a core group that way. The other part is, and I'm bringing 2 other men with me, and I told them I'm writing a schedule for us. We will abide by my schedule. It's nothing more than you're not here to be on your computer.
Right.
You're not here to be on your phone.
You got things to do.
You're not here to be selling pods to anybody other than who's in this building. Let's focus. And when I let you off at 5 o'clock, you can go do whatever the fuck you want to do back in your hotel room like I will, because I will not bring my computer to the trade show floor. I'll have my phone plugged in down there. Eyes up.
Yep.
Eyes up. Always eyes up.
Yep.
Because I am the professional, eyes down, you're not getting me, I'm walking by you guy.
Right.
When I walk a trade show and I don't want to talk to that person,
Right, just
you just just turn the head,
Yep.
So when you're in the booth, eye focus is so important.
Of course, I
And
agree.
I'm not afraid to challenge people. Whoa, you don't want to see me? You don't want to talk to me?
Sure.
Come on, come have a drink with me.
Right.
Kind of loosens things up,
Of
changes
course.
things around. I'm also a fan of trying to find that prep night, the first night, before the show even began. Where you guys going for dinner?
Sure.
Whether the team next to me, behind me, across from me, where you guys going to dinner? You have a plan? Maybe we'll meet up.
Yep.
Just trying to build a social atmosphere. I'm going to be with you for the next 3 days. You're here, I'm here. We could be dicks to each other or we could be pals.
Yeah, you
I'd
work
rather be
together,
pals
yeah, 100%.
and make the most of it. But people don't put that effort in.
No, you're right. They don't. They just show up there with a box.
Yeah.
Show
And I
up,
laugh at that.
and they're sitting down on their
Yeah.
phone, and it's like, I am there for the chatter. I am there for the gossip. I'm there to hear. That's why I invited Ty to come out, because I want him to experience
Sure.
the biggest show.
Sure.
This is the biggest trade show I will go to in my lifetime. And took my company 5 years to let me go.
Wow.
I'm not
really?
passing. Yes,
What a
5
mistake,
years.
dude. Should have been there freaking before the thing even started.
Dude, and I know what to expect. I've been
Right.
to Vegas. I've done a show, but I'm prepared. I'm ready. I'm going out on Sunday. Why? Because I don't want to travel on setup day. I want to be ready.
blame you, yeah.
I want to be ready. I want to meet as many people as I can, connect with as many people as I can. And what a lot of people also do is, I get the family. The show's over Thursday, 4 o'clock. They're on a red eye at 7 o'clock at night. I'm not running out of town. I'm waiting.
Yeah.
Taking another night. I even told my wife,
I don't
said,
blame
listen,
you.
the show's exhausting.
Sure.
I tried the red eye thing. I can't sleep on a red eye. What the hell am I? Let's find somebody else to go out to dinner with. Someone from the show who's staying there as well. One more last date, so to speak. One more business date to connect with somebody and catch an early flight the next day.
Yeah, and that could work out good, right? Because now all the smoke is settled and all the hype, right? So you kind of get on that personal level. You guys
Yeah.
could just chill out and kick back, where not everyone's running like a mile a minute with a chicken without a head, you know?
Did you see that book? Did you see
Yeah,
that?
yeah.
There's a lot to see. There's a lot to see.
And that's
Do you have
good.
any trade show tips that you could add?
Oh, trade show tips. No, like you said, man, just turn up the charisma. Talk to everybody. Just be outgoing. Go up to them, introduce yourself. Don't be afraid to talk to anyone. Go up to them, be confident, and have a conversation, right? You never know where it's going to lead. You don't know until you ask, right? I think that was one of the things Mahatma Gandhi said. You do not know until you ask, right? Something like that. Wear a light color, something loud if you want. If
I'm
you-
a red shirt guy.
If you're
I'm
eccentric,
a red shirt guy because
stick
everybody
out.
else is in blue.
Yeah, stick out. Be eccentric. A little bit different, right?
Yeah,
Get people
yeah,
talking
yeah.
about you. But yeah, and just
One other tip that I like to offer to people, and it's really an icebreaker. What can I do to help your business grow?
yeah,
What can I do to help you grow your business? And again, goes back to the go-giver.
sure,
What? Maybe I can't do anything.
Right.
But if you don't ask,
right.
but when you do ask, people look at you very differently.
Because it's better than saying, I want to get a sale from you, and what can I do for myself?
Right. It's all
Right?
about myself. It's all about myself.
Yeah,
All right, trade. You have any trades? You did one trade show with me.
Well, I've done a lot of trade shows,
Okay.
but my main tip would be, if you have somebody working your station, keep your feet moving. Get around to spend time with the other booths. And I know you might be running the booth, but let the person that's there with you run the booth, and maybe get around and spend some actual time with these other businesses, rather than just a quick buy. Here's what I do. Let me get you a card. Come sit at my table for the rest of the night. No, spend some time. Make conversation about things that you guys might have in common, regardless of what your businesses are. Set that aside.
Could be sports, right?
Hey, you
Could
played
be-
basketball in high school?
Yeah,
I played basketball in high
anything.
school. Hey, you played football? I played football. Hey, you like old fashions? I like old fashions. Let's have one after the trade show. Whatever you can do to, just lighten the mood, make it how our podcast is, conversational.
Sure.
This isn't a cookie cutter thing.
No, this is great.
It's just this, it should be like that when you walk on a trade show. It should be like that when you're in front of a client. It should be like that when you're doing a job.
Correct.
Yeah, you're doing a job. You're here to knock these things out, but why can't it still be smooth?
Yeah.
Why can't everything just flow?
And the ones that
you
are
know?
smooth are very successful.
Oh,
There you go.
Exactly, man. So be
Well,
smooth. That's
smooth. Smooth
I like
operators,
that.
yeah,
Be
yeah.
smooth. I like that. We gotta write. Hold on, I gotta write that. I gotta write that. Be smooth.
You know, you can tell a lot by people's handwriting. Can you sign my book
Oh,
for
yes,
me?
absolutely. We're
great
gonna do
book, by
that.
the way.
Did you read it?
Halfway through, yes.
Nice.
Halfway through. I got it the other day.
Got a live book signing on the
Yeah,
show.
very excited.
If I could spell.
Come on, man. You only had one old fashioned.
I know. I took it easy this week.
So last week we got excited and we poured a little heavy. So this week we
Nice.
came in
Look at
just
that.
an ounce.
And what do we say? You could tell by someone's handwriting? Looks like success. I like it.
There you go. There you go.
Nice.
So we're gonna thank some sponsors now. You are our old-fashioned sponsor.
Yep, Magic Junk and Cleaning. We are a moving junk removal cleaning company. We'll get you guys moved out. We'll get you cleaned up, and we'll also deep clean the property at the end if you want to show it. Estate sales, things like that. That way everything's nice and smooth. You can sell your house faster. If you're not selling the house and you just want to get out, I'm who you call. I'm the person you call for anything. I'm the one that does the things no one else wants to do.
What's your number?
My number is 631-615-3853, and you can reach us at themagic.junk.com.
And George, tell us to give us a little plug for your company.
Sure. GAF Commercial Roofing Services. If there's anything I can do, assist you with assembly letters, core cuts or whatever, my number is 516-564-7798. Thank you.
So I'm going to thank PM Doors. My sister works for PM Doors. She's trying to get them to do a sponsorship with us, so I said I'll throw her a free shout out. They are commercial doors and commercial doors only.
Okay.
They do not do residential. They are all buildings, school districts, municipalities. They're the top dog in the field. She's been there a long time. Know them very well. Hopefully they'll come on board as a sponsor. And for me, my name is Eddie Pods. How to Become a Sales Warrior is my book. My website is howtobecomeasaleswarrior.com. And my email is eddie@howtobecomeasaleswarrior.com. All very simple. Thank you all very much for viewing our show. Here come the drums. Here come the drums. There it is. Thank you very much. See you next time, everybody. Out.